So you want to own your own travel agency in 2025. Well, today we're going to be talking about, is it time to scale that team? Can you really move from salesperson to CEO? And also, what do you absolutely need to have in place before you think about hiring that first person? If you want to know the answers to all that and more, keep on watching. That's what we're doing on the show today.
Step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.
All right, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell right here on YouTube. We bring you amazing content every single week, and I don't want you to miss a thing. If you're new here, type a little "I'm new" in comments. I'd love to welcome you to our community. If you are new, you might not know who I am. My name is Cyndi Williams. I'm the CEO and founder of Wanderlust Campus, where we help you to launch, grow, and supersize your travel businesses at every level. And today we're talking about travel agency owners or prospective owners. If you've been thinking about, I think I want to have a team, or I want to have my own agency, or maybe it's my time to graduate away from whatever you're doing now and really kind of take the bull by the horns and get your team scaled out and built out and have your own agency within the travel industry, right? So this is an exciting topic. I realize it's really fun to kind of think about doing this and jumping in really quickly, but there's some really important things that you need to know before you endeavor to host people within your agency or start a small agency that you want to be able to scale. And there's a lot of easy mistakes you can make at the beginning that I don't want you to make. So we're going to cover it all today. And I want to start by really talking about the prerequisites, the things that really should be in place. Like if you're in that think about it phase right now, ask yourself these questions. Are you doing these things I'm about to talk about? Because before you even start, you want to make sure these prerequisites are handled. First one is, are you a skilled and savvy travel professional? Are you already experienced? Do you know what you're doing? If you don't know what you're doing, or you don't feel confident, or you're not there yet, it would not be responsible of you to start scaling a team. You really want to make sure you can do your job forwards and backwards and twice on Saturday and all the things before you think about bringing a team on or even bringing one person on. You want to make sure you're feeling fully confident and you have had some experience in the industry. Otherwise, it's a recipe for a little bit of a disaster, which is what we don't want. Now, the second thing is, do you have the heart to lead? So if you've been doing this job forever, or you know that you want to get out of doing sales every day, and I want to step into that CEO role, and I want to start to scale my team, and you know, like, I love leadership, I love mentoring, I love coaching, I love helping. If you have that heart to lead, that's another thing you want to make sure that you have in place. If you're like, nope, I just want to farm off my work and I'm not really a good people manager, I don't want to be a good people manager, then it might not be a good fit. A travel agency is a very hands-on business where you're really helping people kind of step into their new endeavor to be in the industry too. And that takes a lot of bandwidth for you to, not just time-wise, but you also have to really engage leadership skills, communication skills, and making sure you're comfortable to do that. But if you have a heart to lead and that's absolutely in your lane of things that you like to do, then that's a good thing as well. The next one is, do you have a solid foundation in place? So here's how I want you to think about this. A lot of people will think, oh, well, I have this friend and we're just going to kind of do it together. We're going to figure it out as we go, or I'm just going to hire my first couple to get started, and later I'll get systems in place, or I'll put them in as we grow. You don't want to do that, and here is why. If you fast forward 6 months down the road or 12 months down the road, you've brought on 4, 5, 6 people, and they didn't have solid contracts. You promised them certain things. You had a different technology and you realize you need a new tech stack, and now you're changing stuff and you're jumping around. They are going to lose confidence in, one, your leadership ability, but also there's a bazillion different choices they could pick to go somewhere else in the industry, and you don't want to have attrition. The last thing that can happen is maybe they are very loyal to you. Maybe you hired friends and you have a great group of people and they love you to death, but when you have to go back and reset expectations or roll out a new hiring agreement or roll out different policies, that can create a challenging environment because people don't love change. And when you're switching the rules on them all the time, it can be a recipe for disaster. So the I'll figure it out as I go approach is not a good approach when you're trying to be a successful agency owner. Just to give you a couple examples of things you really want to make sure are in place. What are your SOPs? What are your standard operating procedures? What is your tech stack going to be? Have you made all the decisions on things like who's going to be your insurance carrier? What CRM are you going to use? What's the policy on fees going to be? How are you going to operate in SOT states, even if you are not in an SOT states, but now you have to be compliant because you have an agent that might help a traveler that is in an SOT state. Knowing all the answers to all of these questions, you really have to think through all of this in advance so you can make those decisions and have that core initial structure built. Then you can move to the next step, which is really architecting your agency so it is ready for agents. So outside of the pre-qualification things, so a couple things to think about there. The next area I want you to think about is when you are an agency owner, these are the 5 pillars that you need to set up in your business to make sure you're going to be successful. And the reason you want to set these pillars up in advance is so you can then just rinse and repeat and you can scale much faster. That's where this build as you grow will break down, because the minute you have 5 people, they're going to be requiring so much attention and have questions and time, and they're going to have questions about operations and questions about sales and questions about how to do things. You're going to be so busy with the in part of your business, you're not going to have time to do this on stuff and structure that's so important. So that's why you want to have these 5 pillars in place. So the first one is, do you have a recruiting system? What's your system going to be to recruit? A lot of agency owners don't think about this. They're like, I have a friend, or people will come by way of mouth. If you're really trying to scale an agency, even if you only want 5 to 10 people, but you want them to be the most qualified and have the most potential and be real self-starters, you really want to think about having a recruiting system that you can turn on and off. So when you need to hire, or people leave, or you have attrition, you can turn the recruiting system on, you can turn it off. This is going to include everything from where should I be marketing? Where should I be hiring from? What should my process be to recruit? Where and what areas should I be recruiting? Who am I looking for? And then how do I automate that process so you don't even have to think about it? Just resumes and inquiries kind of come into your inbox. What is that whole recruiting structure? So that is pillar number 1, making sure you have a recruiting system. The next pillar is going to be, quite naturally, your hiring system. Now, even if you have had a job in the past where you've hired people before, you've been in a corporate environment, you still need to understand in our industry, you are traditionally working with a contractor model. So you want to think about, how do I properly hire? Am I following all of the proper regulations? Am I in compliance with working with contractors? How do I pre-screen? How do I conduct interviews? How do I go through that process? And then again, how can I automate as much of this as possible so I can get the best possible people hired in my business? So your second pillar is that hiring system. Make sure you have that in place. Now, once you've hired people, fantastic, that's great. The next question is going to be, what should I do now before they start? It's called onboarding. So you want to have an onboarding system. During the onboarding phase, this is your opportunity to set expectations, the things that you want to talk to them about, explain to them exactly what the agency does and does not do, how our industry works. And a lot of people underestimate, you may have been watching 100 videos about this, or you may have been in the industry for 5-10 years. Wherever you are, the normal person does not understand how contractor markets work, what it means to be a travel agent working in this environment where you will be hosting them. You have to a lot of times do consumer education on that as you're onboarding them into the system. So this will be your opportunity to talk through what that looks like, what that feels like, and also staying in compliance with all the contractor laws, right? So what is your hiring agreement going to be? What should be included on your hiring agreement? Are you protected as a company? How do you screen prospective employees once you have hired them? They've signed the agreement. Should I screen them? Should I background check them? Yes, those are the important things to do in today's environment, and making sure you're protecting yourself from fraud. Believe it or not, there are a lot of fraudsters out there. So making sure that you're not accidentally getting someone bad that's in your environment that's about to serve customers under your company name, making sure you have all of this thought through in your pillar of onboarding. The onboarding system is really important. So that's pillar number 3. Pillar number 4 is your training system. Now, this is a really tricky one because if you're using the traditional model that we use in the travel industry where you are hiring people, contractors, you cannot have a required formal training program. And this is where a lot of agencies, the systems break down. You cannot tell anyone they have to do training. You cannot require training. They are coming to you as contractors to complete the tasks that you give them. But all you can do is make training available to them. So how do you do that in a way where you inspire them to actually complete it? Make sure that they're doing a good job. Make sure they're becoming skilled at their role. Make sure they're serving clients at the highest level. This can become a big challenge. So you have to solve that problem in your business. A lot of the clients that we work with, we do have a 6-month-long program for agency owners, and we train their staff for them before they start with them, right? That's a beautiful kind of marriage in terms of that whole process. But if you don't have that benefit, how are you going to make sure that you are encouraging them to learn, encouraging them to grow, making sure they're not making mistakes? So you have to think about, what is my training system going to be? How am I going to deploy it? How am I going to keep it updated? And then how are they going to learn to do their jobs, and what quality checks you could have in place to make sure they're living up to your expectations. So training system is number 4 and really important. Now, this is the point where the novice agency owner will go, whew, I think I'm done. I've recruited them, I've hired them, I have onboarded them, I've trained them, and now I'm releasing them to the world and everything's going to be roses and I'm going to go jump on a cruise ship and my agency will run itself. No, that's not how it works. And if you forget this 5th pillar, the whole thing will fall apart. You have to make sure you have a system for performance management. The first 90 days that those new team members are with you, those contractors are with you, how are they interacting with clients? How are they doing their quotes? Are you listening to their calls? How are you mentoring them? What steps do you have in place in those learning phases to make sure that they're becoming a successful, reliable travel professional that can work in your environment? If you slack in this area, you will have a lackluster agency and you're going to end up doing all of this work and still selling like 80% of your time because you're probably the best salesperson in your agency. You have got to spend time with that group and that community and have a system for giving them everything that they need to be as successful as possible. That takes time, it takes leadership, and it's the step that so many forget. This is also the step that will have them stick with you for life. If you are really spending that time and you're helping mentor and develop them and all of those things, why would they go anywhere else? But if they don't feel like they're being supported, they feel like they did all this stuff and they're not selling in their business and they haven't gotten to the success part yet, you have to bridge that gap or you're going to have attrition. They're going to leave. So this is why these pillars are so important. You don't want to just sign up this year for a whole bunch of extra work and the grand plan of I'm going to have my own agency to have it all crumble and fall, and you just do a whole bunch more work and you have no work-life balance and you're not any better off than you were last year. So make sure, do the pre-qualification as long as those are good. Make sure you have that foundation. Have these 5 pillars in place. Now, if you're like, Cyndi, I don't know how to do some of those pillars. This feels overwhelming to me. I want to remind you that Rome was not built in a day. As long as you are not building as you go, because that can be tough. Or maybe you already did build as you grow and you're watching this video going, oh my gosh, I messed up on like 3 of these, right? Wanderlust Campus can help you. So we do have a program. We don't talk about it a ton because we only have a limited amount of space. We only work with so many agency owners every single year because this is a 6-month-long program. It's called our Wanderlust CEO program, where we teach you how to build the structure, how to put all the proven systems in place, how to put those pillars together. We give you our hiring system, our recruiting system, our onboarding system. We actually have a pre-made plug-and-play training kit that you can provide to your prospective hires, that they take the kit, they earn a industry recognized designation of associate travel professional. This is a registered mark. This is a trademark term in the travel industry. They earn that. So you know when they start with your business, they have been trained, they know how to do their job, they're skilled, they know how to sell, they know how to market themselves. All of those things is done for them. So the training's plug and play. and you are in compliance with contractor law because you're leveraging a third party to make that training available to them. And then the last system, the performance management, we work with you. I've been a CEO for a long time. You guys, if you don't already know my history, I've been in the industry for 30 years, and I run multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses, right? So I work with you on the CEO level to understand how you need to create this environment of performance management with your teams as you grow. So everything from how do you coach them? How do you have difficult conversations? How do you run your team meetings? How do you get them to track their stats and data? How do you get them focused on performance within your agency? So all of this hard work that you do actually ends up in results. If that sounds like a fit for you, I encourage you to reach out to us at Wanderlust Campus. You can go to wanderlustceo.com/start and just schedule a call with my enrollments team, and we can really understand what your goals are, see if it's a match to work together, and if it is, we can talk to you about how to apply for that agency owner level program called Wanderlust CEO. And if not, I hope you got some great tips today. My biggest piece of advice is wherever you are in your journey, even if you're not working with Wanderlust Campus, just please make sure you have those 5 pillars in place. It's really important as an industry that we're doing business in a way where all of these new travel advisors and travel professionals are supported. They're in a happy host home where they can grow and they can thrive. And you have a big responsibility as their leader to make sure you're running business, not just ethically, but you have the right systems and support and processes in place so they can thrive in that environment. And also, everything that you do on that level is, of course, going to be a reflection to your clients, making sure that you are preserving that all-important client experience, having the best people that are skilled and know what they're doing. It brings everything together and will help you have this happy model of your own travel agency. And guys, I want to encourage you, having your own agency is a very empowering thing. Moving from salesperson to CEO, it will free up and give you more work-life balance and help you to evolve in your role as a CEO and as a leader as well. So I encourage you to keep asking questions, keep doing the work, keep getting out there, and wherever you are in your journey, I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world. We'll see you on the next one. If you like that last video, make sure you check out all the content available to you on our channel. And I invite you to follow along, travel with me around the world as I grow and scale my travel businesses. You're gonna pick up some great tips, some great tricks on how you can grow your own travel brand too. I'm gonna drop some links down below, and also check out these videos I handpicked just for you.